Welcome to our first English video on our new YouTube channel for helium.com.cy. I'm Eric and I go by 80s, and you'll find me on Discord, Facebook, and of course anywhere else you find that handle. Today I want to talk about the same topic I related to in Greek on the previous video on the 12th of November. Today is Monday and this is the 15th of November 2021, and the issue I want to talk about is the large number of hotspots located in Nicosia, Cyprus, and a strategy that we can do together to make this better for all of us, and what are the consequences of our own actions, and basically what's going on. I'm using a tool called Hotspotty. I recommend that you definitely use this tool, whether you're a hotspot owner or not, because you can also plan ahead, add locations, and see generally what's going on with your locations and other people. First, let me quickly explain what is a transmit scale and what is a reward scale. They're two names for the same thing. I'm just going to pick some of these new hotspots that have been asserted in the last 7 days. Let's have a look at this orange one over here. So this one here is a non-existent hotspot. It's just a location that I added. As you can see, it says added by 80s. This is just a random address that I picked, but it's a good example of what could go wrong with this. Reward scale, or as the Helium Explorer calls it, transmit scale, is the percentage of rewards that this unit is going to receive. As a hotspot, this is going to receive 0.48, which means 48% of its maximum potential. In other words, if it was in another location, it would be receiving 100%, but if installed in this particular location, it will only receive 48%. Now, this doesn't mean that this is the only hotspot that will be receiving 48%. The impact of installing it here will be that the other hotspots near it will also share the rewards, meaning that while they used to be 100%, they will also reduce to 48%. Why is that? Because there's a rule called HIP17 in the algorithm that defines whether or not you can install a hotspot near another hotspot. Why did they make this rule? Well, this protocol, this entire algorithm, suits the ability to expand the network. We want to grow the LoRaWAN network of Helium across the entire country. What we don't want to do is abuse the system by cheating and gamifying, which means that we'll eventually earn more rewards for something that we're not contributing to. This is not a crypto project as such, it's more of a networking project, and it uses crypto to deliver the rewards, and more importantly, crypto to pay for usage of your network, which is why it's a service provider less concept, right? A network by the people. Now, the reward scaling here on Hotspotty tells us that there's a problem with resolution 8. This tells me that in this small resolution, and resolution 8 is smaller than resolution 7, thus the problem we're going to discuss today is resolution 4, which is even bigger. It says how many devices can be installed in this area. Now, resolution 8 can take up to 4, but by default it starts by 1. You can upgrade the density by installing more hotspots around it. So for example, in this scenario that I've created here, if I install enough hotspots around it, at least to activate 2 other hex, I will upgrade the density to 2, and the limit to that will go up, and I can take that limit all the way to 4 if I upgrade enough hotspots. You can read about that if you just basically Google HIP17, and then you'll see that on either on GitHub or their blog, it gives you the numbers of the maximum density you can go to. Resolution 8, as you can see in your screen, it'll take you to, now close that, it should take you to target 1, density max 4. Now what we're looking here is a big problem that has actually occurred recently in Nicosia. On the 11th of November, there was 12 remaining hotspots that could be installed without affecting the rest of us. And since the 12th of November, we've exceeded that number. That means that we're right now 9 too many. So where we could have had 250 devices working at 100% their reward scales, depending on where else they put them, now we've exceeded that. So every time we add a new device and we exceed the limit, we reduce the maximum transmit scale we can have. If we add another 250 devices, then it will be 500 sharing the rewards of 250, which means effectively everyone will get 50%. Every time we install a device, it reduces this up until it reaches that limit. So 250 devices will reach another 50%. So in other words, I think if the math is right, every 5 new devices installed will get a 1% increase. So one more and we'll go to, yeah, if my math is right. Now, how do we fix this problem? Well, there's 2 strategies that Hotspotty recommends. I'm going to recommend a third one. The first one we can't actually do. The problem is we won't be able to convince so many people to remove their hotspots. Right now, asking people to move won't effectively solve the problem because we have a lot of new orders constantly. The other strategy that is recommended by Hotspotty is this one here, to install in the Hexagon A 178, well now it's 174. By doing so, the limit will be increased to 500. Again, this is because the algorithm has a density, and once you start occupying the hexagons near the centroid, you'll be able to upgrade the density. Now, we can upgrade all the way to 800. By installing these 174 in the mountain regions and not in the city of Limassol, as you can see, the city of Limassol is already congested. By installing it in the mountainous regions, and even recommends where to put them, we'll be able to upgrade the Nicosia resolution for Hexagon. I recommend that we get in touch with the people who can install in the north side of Cyprus, and we should install in the areas of Amohostos, Karpasia, Kerinia, Lapithos, Morphou, and of course the mountainous regions that we have access to in the south. By collaborating and installing more and more, we'll upgrade our density so we can support 800 in the resolution 4 of Nicosia. The big problem, of course, once we exceed 800 in Nicosia, there will be nothing else to do. So you got to keep an eye on Hotspotty and try to reduce how many devices we're installing as a nation, or plan ahead to where we're going to install them. You can find us on helium.com.cy. We've got a few meetups coming up, and of course you can drop a message to me or Jay on Discord.